Hello there, my name's Fiona. We've got a fun one for you this week. We're going to be making juggling balls, and we're going to make 4 on the thing, but I can't really juggle anymore. I used to be able to. So these are great if you want to learn to juggle. You need a substance for the centre. I'm using rice, but you just need something with a bit of weight to it. So I suppose you could use clean gravel, or you could use some sort of beans. I've got scraps of material. Now I'm using, this is like a fleecy cotton for pyjamas actually. I recommend a cotton, but any scraps, you don't need that much. And we've got skizzers and a sewing machine. Anyway, I hope you enjoy it, because yeah, that's about as good as I can do juggling wise. Alright, so hello there, we've got everything we need. Nice bit of fabric. Now these are, well, okay, this is fleecy pyjama fabric that's left over from another project. I've got quite a bit of it actually, so yeah, you'll be seeing it again. There we go, and we're going to make 4 because I think it would just be so annoying if somebody mastered juggling 3 balls and wanted to try 4 balls. So that's that. Let's just trim off this end. Yeah, I think because I'm just using what I've got, I think I'm actually going quite large. But so what we need to do is sew these bags with the rice into the bean bag. Now the reason I'm doing this is because I don't want an excess of plastic, but what I definitely don't want is rice in my sewing room. So, away. So lovely. One seam at a time, I'm afraid. There's no quick fix for this. I put all my rice down that end. And I can trim this off because I know that this is now sewn into the bag. And you know, you want it as secure as possible because you don't want rice in your house, do you? You know, one day your juggling balls will fall apart. So what I've done there is I've done a seam along there. I've actually got far too much cloth here. I'm going to cut it down. And then jiggle it so it's all at the bottom. And you're going for basic squares at the moment. Lovely. I'm just going to push that out of the way, but what I've done is I've reverse stitched it, and then I'm coming down quite far as I can, and I'm reverse stitching it again, because if it goes anywhere it's going to go at the seams. So lovely, and reverse stitching again. So what I've got, other than far too much cloth, is a bag of rice in a bag sewn on a piece of outside cloth. I'm going to turn it inside out Yeah, okay, when you do it, don't buy crinkly bags. So, I'm turning this inside out, tucking the bag of rice into there. Lovely. I'm going to do my corners now, because I think it might be easier. And there we are. So, the rice is all secured. Yeah. What I'm now going to do is, I've got the seams here. I'm going to just pop like that, and then I'm just going to tuck in, and then I'm going to sew over the top. I'm going to make sure that's nice and firm. I've done a couple of reverse stitches, and that's quite important to give yourself enough room to sew, because at the minute, because I'm sewing right on the edge, only a quarter of the teeth are catching the cloth, the teeth on the sewing machine, so it's kind of complaining a bit, and I'm just tucking in my raw edges of cloth. I'm assisting the machine to go over the humpety-bumpety seam. Lovely, and there we go, a couple of reverse stitches again. So, yes, I thought the machine was making an awful lot of fuss. Broke my thread. Okay, so let's just do that again. What has happened now is we've actually kind of ironed it, so it makes it a bit easier. So I'm going to put the machine in, put the cloth into the machine, and get it sewing. I'm going to go right up to the edge with reverse stitches, and then get it sewing again. So that's one ball complete. Now I'm going to keep the camera running whilst I do the other balls. And yeah, there we are. Nice and safe. And I was going to cut this down to size a bit. Not quite as small as that, but... Yes! I have the urge to sing to you. There we go. Another bag of rice. Fold this over. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I don't leave that seam to last, because I actually really don't want rice spilt. So there we go. I've got the fabric lines up, polythene over the top, couple of stitches, reverse stitches. Lovely. I'm going to take it out and I'm going to give it a good shake. Sew again. do the last one, I can just push that out of the way. I really don't want any rice underneath the needle. And there we are. So I'm going to cut off my excess bag because that's just going to be crinkly. I'm going to double check all my seams whilst I'm doing that. And then I am literally going to turn it all inside out. Carefully. Yeah, so that's a lot better size, isn't it? Not too big, not too small. Join these two ends together, fold them over. Make sure that I've not got any rice anywhere near my needle. Give it a go. What I could do, so you can actually see what I'm doing. I'm quite mean like that, as I'm going to sew it from this side so you can see. Lovely, so I'm going as close to the edge as I feel comfortable. Whilst I'm going over the seam, I'm going to hold it and tug it. Careful not to tug too hard because you can actually bend the needle and then you've got to go through the whole, well, which bit is broken. So now these are sandwich food bags. They're literally just what I had in the house. So you can use anything you like. Or anything you've got really, and I've used rice rather than beans because I had it in the house. There's no two ways about it. I didn't buy anything special. I do try not to buy things specially. You know, everything I sew for the blog has either got a home to go to, or it's myself, or in this case, scraps of cloth. Although I don't own any juggling balls. I used to juggle, obviously. There we go. I'm not going to do my reverse stitch till I'm on the cloth because I was just on the bag there. I've never had any problem sewing polythene. While it's shaking the rice in the bag, it is kind of dislodged one, so I've gone over it with the sewing machine. I'm just going to push that back in now, and then I'm going to make sure that these stitches are quite firm. I guess the other way you can do it is you can knot the rice into the bag. We'll do the last one like that, just to see if that works any better. Lovely, so now what I'm doing is the last seam, I'm pushing this bag of rice out the way. There we go. Trim off my excess polythene. So it's crinkly enough. And then we're going to tuck it inside. Yeah, or you could use gravel if you really don't think that you should be throwing away food, because I'm completely with you. You know, it was only 2 years ago and there were riots over rice in China, so it was ridiculous. So yeah, just with my fingers, making sure that I'm happy with it before I sew. I'm just folding that over. There we go. I will trim all those ends when I'm done. Okay, what might be easier is to tie a knot in it. So we've got all the rice in the corner and we're going to tie a knot in it. And the reason I didn't do this is because I didn't want it too bulky in places. But there's no reason why this doesn't work just as well. Because the reason we're using rice at all is because we want some weight to it. And there we go. So folded that over. Now as long as you don't put the rice in there, because then, you know, then it's on the outside, but you can sew anything you like onto the inside seam. Lovely. Let's give it a go. Because I know it'll work, I just don't know whether it would be as tidy, but it will probably be easier in a way, because it depends. You know, we're all different. I'm not very good at cutting out, actually. It's my weak point. I can cut out on a big table, but I have a lot of trouble cutting out on a little table. And there we go. So I've used the fold, and I've sewn the bag there with the knot and the spiky thing. And we'll have a look to see whether it looks just as good or whether you'll find it easier. So I'm going to pop it out. Lovely. And then I'm going to do my seam things, which is a bit different because I've sewn it on the fold. But I can guess where it's supposed to be. I must admit, I do even now prefer the squares, but there is a lot to be said that I didn't have to think about my folding. I didn't have to think about keeping plastic on the underside. And then, like I said, you know, learning to juggle 3 balls is a good thing. Learning to juggle 4 is a bit tricky. So, there we go. Now, I don't know whether to show you juggling at the start or the beginning. Yeah, so what I need to do is I need to pop out all my corners and I need to trim my things. Now, I've got no idea if you're in shot. To juggle 4 balls, you go like that on both hands. Really hard. Who knows? So, yes. But, best not go there before we break something. Anyway, I hope it was fun for you. It was fun for me. And I'll see you again probably next week. This is the last one for me for today. Alright, thank you.